Maybe we do need the second roll. 73.
Yeah.
Was it the weirdest or the craziest?
Either.
Might be the same.
Yeah, either or.
I'm gonna have to stay with Nick's. I'm gonna have to plead the fifth on this one because what I might say will incriminate me. But I did pee in Boo's shoes.
Well, he's not here to hear it, so
now's the perfect time to admit it.
And he's probably done pee-related things to you, so.
He's probably done worse than pee-related.
Well, yeah, but I can guarantee there's been pee-related things.
Oh, most definitely. I mean, could you imagine having him as a father?
I would rather not.
If you wonder why Nick's is so screwed up, there you go.
Okay, so there's really not much of a good answer for that one. 73 is another one we haven't done, so we'll leave this one instead. What is something that you do to unwind, and why does that relax you? What are your chill vibes?
Well, nobody knows this, but I have a hammock downstairs, so I sit in my hammock and swing back and forth and read a book.
I love it.
That is very surprising.
I don't have a bed or anything, but that's like my chill spot. It's under the stairs.
I would never peg Mix as a hammock guy.
Does everyone just assume he just sleeps standing up down there, eyes wide open?
I kind of assumed he just never slept.
Same.
Oh, I don't sleep.
So Jinku, of course, pops some pocket peanuts, and she plays some Go Fish with the kids.
All right.
Maybe some slapjack if she's feeling a little rowdy.
Ooh, slapjack. Dang, I haven't played that in like 15 freaking years. Jeez. All right, Sarah, what are your chill vibes?
I mean, Zyara has her tea and her tarot cards and her knitting, but one of the things that she likes to do to kind of zone out and relax is actually like more of like gardening and botanical stuff. She just has never had a place to do it until they got Troll Skull. So she has her own little secret garden on the roof.
So basically, Zyara is just a little hippie.
Yeah, a little bit.
She's
just a grumpy goth hippie.
Wow, that sounds really familiar for some reason.
Shut
up.
To last time.
We
killed
managed
that
to kill the
dude.
big bad.
We stole all his shit out of that tower.
Yeah, we looted
it. Right?
All of it. All of it.
We were like, let's completely redecorate the upstairs of our inn.
Like, Mix took all his books, Boo took his underwear. I got a new hat and
I
some
have the
handkerchiefs.
gauntlet and some new cloaks.
And Boo and Mix both got some pretty significant gear boost stuff.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
whatever. That stuff doesn't matter.
No. I got a hat. That's all that
Yeah.
really matters.
Hey, if it makes you feel any better, I can't get it to apply. Like, I put it on, and it won't apply the stats at all. So
Yeah, cool.
Oh wait, it like Fantasy Grounds doesn't do it automatically? What the heck?
no, even if I click attunement, it doesn't do anything.
We might have to just manually like put a +2 on like all your stuff then if it doesn't want to do it on its own. That's weird. I would think it would do that on its own. Alright, well, that's annoying. Well, actually, here, let me, before I forget, let me pull that up here real quick. Just so we know it's there whenever we get into some stuff again. Let's see.
While you're doing that, just sidebar question, just because I always kind of forget. Are we like where we're at, Waterdeep? Is that by the ocean?
It is by the ocean. Here, let me get you like a nice overall picture.
Right. It's been a long time since I've like looked at like the big map of Waterdeep and like where we're at.
Yeah, we've seen like the parts ones. Okay, let me see. Where is the?
It's not a random question. I am going somewhere with that.
Mm-hmm. Is this the one I want? Oh, here we go. This one works. Share. There we go. That's
okay.
that's the big map that we usually see chunks of because I have it broken up into like 7 different parts.
Okay.
But yeah, it is right on the western end of this particular continent. Like in terms of, let's see. Where is it? I know I have. Oops. Is it on this map? Folders. Is this one too far north? Oh no, this one's here. It is on here. Okay. So if you wanted the big map of our chunk of the world, Waterdeep on this one is kind of right near the middle of the coast ish. Like if you're zooming in, there's like a giant ass moor, the High Moor, that's like kind of in the middle of the map. West of that, on the coast, is Waterdeep.
So, is it safe to say that there's probably a beach nearby?
Yeah, I'd say so. In terms of beach stuff, it's more of like it's kind of more of like a mud flat situation than it is beach, but people still kind of treat it like that. In the northwestern part of the city, the seaboard, there's a western gate that kind of just opens out onto a little kind of mud flats area. That's like the walls of the city on that side kind of go all the way around it. It comes up to the coast on the northern end, kind of comes up to the coast on the southern end. So there's just all these flats in there, and that's probably the closest thing to a beach. Because otherwise, farther down, you got kind of mostly cliff kind of situations going down past Mount Waterdeep, and then of course once you get further down, you got the harbor, which isn't really great beach material. You know, there's some beaches out on those little kind of islands around the harbor, but the harbor in general is probably not the greatest spot for that. So I'd say the mudflats. You know.
Perfect. Hey, Zyara.
Yep.
Yep.
Shit's been pretty intense lately. What would you think about taking the kids out to the mud flats for some fun?
I think that could be good. It would
What?
be a nice change of pace from them being stuck in the tavern and in the city.
I think so too. What do you say, Mix? You want to take the kids out for some fun?
Y'all can go. I was going to head into town and sell some loot off.
Mix, that's all you ever do is go into town.
You really go into town when you're always in the town?
Yeah.
He goes into other parts of the town.
I spent a lot of time in the Spire reading books.
Mix, be honest with me. Do you not own swim trunks?
Nope.
That's okay. You can swim in whatever you want, or you can swim naked. That's fine too. There's no judgment.
But people always look at my tail. I don't like it.
And you know what? If they do, I'll punch them right in the face.
I
I
mean,
mean, we all have tails here.
Yeah, we do.
As we learned and established at the end of last session, that everyone has a fucking tail.
Don't be embarrassed of your tail, Mix. Be proud.
Plus, I'm sure there are some sea creatures that you can harvest to study their poisonous properties.
That's very true.
Yeah, Mix perks up at this. He goes, I'm grabbing some books. I'll go.
Zyara knows what to
Okay,
say.
get him out of the house.
Smart. Nice.
All right, Zyara gets Mix going. Jinx will get the kids, and we'll get the cart loaded up to head out for our mud flats day. You know, we'll load up the cooler and the lawn chairs and all that.
As you do. Let me see here.
Put the sunscreen on them and.
As y'all are doing this, you see Mix come out of the basement with 2 poles in his hammock, just smiling.
Mix takes life too seriously.
That's great. All right, so you kind of start getting things, put together. You got like a small cart that will make it easier to kind of get your stuff across town. It's a pretty straight shot. There's plenty of main streets going east to west from where you guys are to get right over to the gate on that side of things. Hi, Pumpkin. As you guys are kind of getting things set up, Nat, Squiggly, and Jinx, they come down like they're usually doing. See you guys hauling things around, packing things up, putting some food together, and Nat perks up and it's like, where are you guys going? Another adventure, huh?
We were going to take you guys on an adventure this time.
Yep,
What?
you're gonna come with us.
Really?
Yeah,
we're
gonna
gonna go to the beach.
We're going on a beach adventure, kids.
Whoa. I don't think I've ever actually been over to the beach. I mean, I've been to the harbor and eaten things out of the garbage, but I don't think we've ever been to the beach. Kid, not really much time to go hang out there when just trying to live. That sounds great.
We'll pack food so you don't have to eat out of the garbage.
All right. The kids are all hyped. So yeah, so you get everything put together and make your way across town, out the western gate. It's a pretty decent day. It's not like, full sun beating down kind of day. It's a little partially overcast, but decently warm. And you head out the west gate, and you can see that the tide right now from the sea is fairly low tide. And so like the mudflats stretch for a bit out before you get to actually the water's edge, and you can see there's quite a few people out here. There's a number of them that seem to be walking around on the mud with little baskets, and every once in a while they seem to stop and kind of dig around down. You see them like pulling things out of the mud, stuffing them in the baskets, things like that. And there's quite a few other carts that are all kind of parked up on the more solid ground, like the usual kind of hard shoreline before it gets to the mud flats. Seems like taking it out too far is going to make things a bit difficult. But with the number of other carts around, it seems like this is a fairly normal practice. So you think you'll probably be okay just leaving it here if you do.
Alright, everybody grab some stuff. Let's go find a good spot.
All right. So you unload your stuff from the carts. Kids are kind of helping too. They grab a few of like kind of the baskets of food that you guys have gotten put together, and head out into the flats. Like the first, probably half of the flats that you're crossing, the mud's a little drier, not too difficult to get across without getting too mucky. The farther out half seems to have been pretty recently under the water, where like maybe tide was just lower today or in the last couple days, so it hasn't really had the chance to dry out, and that's where it gets a bit gloopy. The kids are certainly enjoying it. Squidly's kind of joyfully taking these big steps with his feet, just kind of enjoying the of the mud as he goes along.
Jinku will show the kids how to make a mud castle.
So, Jinku, you're helping the kids build a mud castle there together. Get something put together. It's a little rough. Like the mud doesn't hold its form the best. But you get kind of a rough castle structure going on. You got some walls. You got some kind of larger piles that maybe could be some towers on the corners. A little difficult to get like extra floors beyond the first floor. It's a little too sloppy. But you get some semblance of a structure. Mix, like you're looking around and you notice these people that are kind of pulling stuff out of the mud, and as you're kind of walking around, you can feel every once in a while some slightly like hard things in the mud as your feet sink in, and it seems like some of these might be what these people are looking for. Do you check them out at all?
Oh yeah.
Okay. All right. So makes you kind of go digging through the mud here, and you find that it looks like most of the people here, what they're scavenging for is there are a number of soft-shelled clams that make their home in the mud flats. They kind of burrow into the ground. Their shell stays, a few inches under the surface, and then they have a bit of a siphon of sorts that sticks out of one side and kind of sticks up out of the mud for air kind of a common seafood dish around is to boil these up, and since you can just grab them out of the beach, and there's quite a few of them, so especially among some of like the poor people in Waterdeep, kind of a useful source of nutrition that isn't too much work and can just get for free if you get in there.
Yeah, no, Mix doesn't want to have anything to do with something that comes out of the mud.
So you set this back down there. As you guys are like continuing like moving along with the kids, like you see about maybe a minute after you set that one back down, somebody else with one of those baskets comes by and kind of grabs back up the one that you dropped there and stuffs it in their basket. Let me see. So, are you wanting to? Are you trying to find any like particular, like creatures of interest that might have, poisonous properties or other things like that?
Yeah, I'm looking through my list of ingredients. I know there's one creature that's really helpful to me.
Okay. So, at least just from your knowledge of alchemy and some of the things that would come with that, and some of the resources that you can get your various ingredients from, you know that there are certain types of snails or kind of similar mollusks that are venomous, and they can be kind of found along places like this. They usually are in kind of shallow water, and they have like a venomous sting that can be pretty painful. Maybe can even cause like paralysis, that kind of thing. But you think if you looked around and were careful about it, you could probably, I'd say you could probably find some of these.
Yeah, I'll look. I mean, you can always harvest the venom and cause some chaos with it.
Right. Okay. So makes you go poking around, and you manage to find, like, just kind of looking around, observing the surface, like you're able to see some of the telltale signs where these types of snails are kind of poking out of the mud, and you're able to gather a few of them, enough to extract a small amount of venom, probably make a few potions of like paralysis, that kind of thing, out of them. Not sure if what exactly that kind of potion would be called. I'm pretty sure there's some sort of potion or something that does that.
Oh, I've got extra blow darts. I can rig them to the blow dart gun and shoot them into people.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, that's something you could. Yeah, you could definitely do that. You could coat a dart with it and paralyze people. Cool. All right. So while while you all are kind of continuing to go along here, you see kind of further down the coast, there is a somewhat of like a tent of sorts that is set up. Well, I guess more of like an awning, I guess, than a tent. It's not like fully enclosed. It's just kind of a shade awning. And you see a kind of middle-aged couple sitting under this awning. They, are dressed, fairly finely. Not in like super high class like finery, but they're clearly wearing nicer quality clothes than a lot of the people that are just kind of mucking about on these flats are. And you see kind of near them, kind of playing in the mud, are a pair of children a boy and a girl. They seem to be about same size, probably the same age. Um, they look pretty familiar to you, at least from a distance.
It's not the kids whose parents we murdered in front of them, is it?
I mean, hard to tell at this distance, but you could certainly get a little closer.
Yeah, why not?
Okay. So you guys kind of make your way down that way, and as you get closer, you get kind of a better look at the kids, and it's not the ones with the parents that you killed. This looks to
Excuse
be
me, allegedly killed.
Yeah.
allegedly
Alleged.
killed. Sorry, allegedly.
We
We were never convicted of that.
True. Sorry.
God.
God.
This looks to be the Castellanter family, having a day out on mud flats with the kids.
Oh, hey, we like them, don't we?
Well,
Well,
they certainly like us, which
which
is
is
saying something.
I don't remember if we like them or not. I honestly
We do.
We do.
remember
Yeah,
them
you've
very
done a few
well.
things for them. And in terms of like stuff that you've kind of been involved with the Castellanter family, the first thing was that their kids had been in danger of some sort of demonic cult that was after them for some reason, and you went out to the little town of Undercliff, to the east of town, to try to get that sorted out. They also provided you with one of the eyes of the stone and explained how they were kind of involved in all of the interest amount around these artifacts that you guys have been looking for, because they, in their younger days, were foolish and made a deal with a demon in exchange for kind of money and wealth, and ended up losing their firstborn child in the process. And it sounds like this demon they made a deal with is coming to also collect their other two children, unless they can manage to get enough stuff together to appease this demon that they made a deal with, which is why they had kind of struck a deal with you guys to split the whatever you find in this hoard that got embezzled and hidden, with them, so they can save their kids and get out of the stupid stuff they did like a decade ago.
Instead, we're all farting around on the beach.
I mean, hey, you have made some progress. You got another one of the eyes last time. There's only one eye to go, so progress has been made. You're
And,
taking
we all almost died, so
Yeah,
we deserve this.
A lot. We almost died a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, you were held captive in a closet.
Yeah,
So-
damn it, I deserve my day in the sun.
What's the vacation day policy for adventuring? How many sick days do we get?
No idea.
Benefits.
Yeah, well, what's the Troll Skull 401k policy? Is there employer matching?
I mean, it depends on who was in control of the 401k, because if it was mixed, there is none.
The 401k is the apothecary fund.
And if Boo was in charge of vacation days, we got none.
Mix's 401k is when you are too old to work, I will kill you quickly.
That is so not true.
Is it though?
Well, you see, Mix believes in
Who is
investing.
nicer, Mix or Boo?
Mix is the nice one. You just guys always pick on him.
That's true.
Yeah, he's got a point. He's got a point there.
I mean, come on. I'm like mischievous and fun. Boo is scary.
Hey, To be fair, we did convince you to come to the beach. That's pretty nice of us. We
Yeah,
didn't even invite Boo.
I'll walk up to the castellaners and be like,
We
"Oh,
didn't even
hello."
invite Boo.
No, we didn't invite Boo.
He's gonna be mad. Hey, who cares?
I mean, to be fair,
Boo and Torta have been very murdery lately, so
They probably would have just.
we didn't want
Murder.
to possibly ruin our day off.
They need to take a nap, take a breather, get the murder juice out of the system.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, carry on.
Well, the worst thing that Mix is planning is like he wants to start selling his alchemy supplies, like the Assassin and Thieves guilds. But I mean, he doesn't actually want to commit murder. He just wants to supply the tools.
And you know what? Mix has never ever threatened my cat. So.
True.
I rode one of your cats.
That's true. You were very, very nice to my cat. Mix, Jinku's gonna be much nicer to you.
now that Jinku has remembered this.
Yep.
Jinku will definitely remember this.
Yeah, she's gonna try really hard to remember that.
Murdering isn't the fun part. It's being accessory to murder. That's the fun part.
I mean, kinda.
I know Mix hangs out in his basement all the time, doing weird experiments that y'all have no idea what he's doing, but
we don't want to know.
We really don't.
Fair.
We just want you to hang out with us a little bit more.
I mean, I haven't blown up Troll Skull yet.
And we appreciate that, but like we just want you to hang out with us a little bit more.
He hasn't blown up the tavern yet. There's a hole in the floor, but that's unrelated.
It's fine. We'll just shove some dirt in there.
Wait, how did we get a hole in the floor?
Yeah, wait, which hole in the floor?
I don't know. Mix plays with acid. I assume there's a hole in the floor of his little lab.
You know, I didn't even question that. I just went along with it.
Jinku and I are improving, okay? You don't question, you just play off.
Role playing, people.
All right. So yeah, Mix walked over to Castellaners. Yeah, what was it that you said you were saying to Castellaners?
I'll just say, hey, how y'all doing today? We figured we'd bring our wards out to the beach. We've been cooped up in Troll Skull while we've been dealing with your matter.
And Victorio kind of looks over as you walk up, and obviously kind of a little surprised to see you out here on the beach of all places. But he quickly kind of widens into a smile and is like, "Oh, yes. Well, I can't say I expected to find you all out here, but well, everyone needs a day off now and then, I guess. How have things been going? Have you made any progress?"
We have one left, right?
Yeah.
One left, yep.
Yeah, we've only got one more of the stones left to find. The last one, well, that was a nightmare. I think everybody about died 5 or 6 times trying to retrieve that one. So we decided to take a day off.
Well, I can certainly understand needing a break from the adventuring line of work now and then. But let's not talk too much of this out here in the open. You never know who might be listening. There are many people in the city who have their eyes and ears peeled for information on things such as these. So, if you like, perhaps we can meet later at our villa and discuss more on things that you've found out, if anything. I had heard some whispers from some of my own contacts that there might be something of interest to you, but we can discuss that at the villa in the privacy of our home. Perhaps you could come by later this evening.
Oh, yes. That sounds great. And Vix's going to lean down to the kids and he goes, "Here, I have something for you. it's a little trick you can play on people. And he has a bronze bell,
Mm-hmm.
but when you shake it, it doesn't ring for 5 minutes. It's really good for playing tricks. Here. Just trying to be nice to the kids.
So you hand this bell over to crap. I have their kids written down somewhere. Oh, that's right. Elzarina and Terenzio are the kids. That's right.
How could you forget those names?
Right. Yeah,
How do you remember those names?
Victoro and Amalia are the parents, and Elzarina and Terenzio are their twin children, and then their other kid who is gone. You don't actually know the name of, but
His name was Fred.
Did we even bother to ask?
If I remember correctly, in terms of the details that they gave you about that situation, so I think it was it's like a certain, there's like a certain like birthday or whatever that their first son had reached. I want to say it was like 5 or 6 or something, so still like pretty young. And then this demon that they'd made a pact with came and took him, and that's really all that they know. They don't really know.
I thought it was their 10th birthday.
Or 10th. Maybe it was 10th. I don't remember. I'd have to look it up. It's written somewhere in all this mess. At some point in this child's childhood, they were taken away by a demon to goodness knows where. And that's really all that they know. And they kind of kept it down on the hush-hush. Just kind of made it seem, because, they are, a pretty wealthy family. Like, they're pretty well known in the city in terms of status. And, most people, like, if you ask, like, if they, knew the Castellaners or knew about this kid or anything at all, the general consensus is that, like, he died of some sort of illness or, some sort of, like, injury or something like that happened. There's, like, a few various stories floating out there that have kind of whipped around the Waterdeep rumor mill a few times and gotten mixed up. Nobody really knows quite for sure. They just know that there was, some sort of horrible accident or disease that happened to this kid and he died. And that it was a really rough time for Victoro and Amalia. And, then eventually they had the twins as well. But yeah, they haven't, seen him in probably like 7 or 8 years. I think it's been a while.
We're not very considerate. We probably didn't ask for any detail, like his name.
I don't think you did, and I don't think they mentioned. I think they had just given some kind of general story about that when they gave you the stone.
Fred it is.
Fred it is. But yeah, Victoro and Amalia, they are more than happy to invite you over for dinner at their place tonight. It's a date.
Jinka will wear her new hat, I'm sure.
Hey, there you go.
Of course.
But bust out the new loot.
Yeah.
Flex. Yeah. That robe with the Archmagi is pretty fucking sick looking.
At this point, Jinku has allowed the children to start burying her in mud, much as you would bury somebody in sand at the beach.
See, and the fun part about the kids burying Jinku is that they can get her pretty deep. Trunks are useful as snorkels, and so you can really get her covered in mud there. pretty much all of it, as long as you leave the trunk sticking out the end somewhere.
Oh, I see some shenanigans with this. Can you imagine if she makes a noise with her trunk as people are walking by?
I'm going to. Especially if Nick tells me to.
Oh my god.
Oh dear.
Oh yeah, definitely. We'll figure out a way. I can communicate with you telepathically. I'll let you know when somebody's getting close to your trunk.
Alright, Mix and Jinka will have some fun messing with people.
Alright. So what are you up to while Jinku's getting buried and causing mischief?
Zyara was gonna fish.
Okay. So Zai, you head kind of farther out, kind of closer to the edge of the water. Gets pretty gloopy out here just because the waves are actually washing over this part of the mud. You kind of find a spot to settle down. Like the mud's to the point where just standing there, you kind of sink in up to like halfway up your calves, at least with this. You cast your line out. You do. Let's see. How about you roll? A nature check.
Gosh.
Wow.
So you're watching your line as best as you can, and it's been kind of sitting still for a little while, and suddenly the line jerks kind of suddenly, and just instantly you're just like, yeah, and just like yank back on the pole as hard as you can. This is before we get fancy real mechanisms, so you just kind of try to yeet that fish out of the ocean, and unfortunately, it doesn't seem to work too well. It seems you were perhaps a little too quick on the uptake.
I didn't wait for that third jiggle.
Exactly. Yeah, you gotta, like every fishing mini game and every game either, you gotta wait for the good jiggle before you yoink didn't get a hook in.
Better luck next time.
Yeah, don't even get me started on those mini games. I've been fishing all my life, and those mini games are so unrealistic. It just infuriates me.
Oh man, Sarah, while you're out here fishing, this you see this kind of older lady kind of come out into the area near where you're at, Zai, and you see her kind of reaching down into the mud and bringing it back up, and then just kind of like almost kind of lotioning herself up with the mud from these flats, like going all up and down her arms. And she kind of bends over. It doesn't have to bend too far over. She's already kind of hunched. Lathers up her legs with this mud, and kind of a bit on her face as well. And you see her kind of standing there, kind of staring off into the distance after she's kind of lotioned herself up with this mud, with this kind of pleasant expression on her face.
kind of looks at her and uh and says, treating yourself to a bit of a spa day.
And she kind of blinks a moment and sees you over there, and says, "Oh, why? Yes, of course. The mud on these flats is full of minerals, don't you know? It's supposed to be good for the skin. You probably should do some yourself. Your skin is wonderful. You wouldn't want to let that go to waste too fast. Mine has already gone too far, I think. But at least it feels nice."
I'll have to keep that in mind.
Jinku's skin's gonna feel great when she gets out of this.
Oh, Jinku is gonna feel like a goddamn baby's butt.
Jinku, there's somebody walking by.
Oh no!
It's gonna make whatever noise we've decided on.
And what noise is that?
I'm not going to make a noise because I don't want my neighbors to get weirded out.
Okay, fair.
Like a nasally elephant noise.
Jinku's noise ends up sounding like a high-pitched fart.
I like it.
And all of the kids giggle. Because fart jokes never get old.
Now, see, my nephew would say that people who laugh at fart jokes are not smart. But I think fart jokes are fucking hilarious.
Man, this would be a great time to have the that reverb fart sound effect.
No one ever said that Jinku was smart, okay?
She's not. She's a fucking idiot. So, but this is me saying this out of character. I think fart jokes are hilarious. Yes, I think Jinku would definitely make a fart noise. It would be so hard to not laugh after making that fart noise.
Oh, that's perfect. Sarah, how you give me one more nature check? We'll see if you have any success at all out there with the fishing.
Woo!
Hey! Nice. Well, Zara, you do manage to land one. Pretty decently sized one as well. Let's see what I want to look up. Ocean fishes. Let's see. Let's randomly choose a fish.
Hopefully a weird looking one.
Yeah, but if it's weird looking, then Jinkus just want to keep it as a pet.
Yeah, but you know, you can talk her out of it. It's okay.
It's a cod. It's a decently sized cod.
Sounds like a nice stew.
Yeah, definitely a very common edible fish.
Sarah looks pleased with herself and wraps it up in a net that she puts in a bucket. And she probably also ends up digging for some clams while she's out by the coast.
Okay. Yeah, you managed to find some without too much difficulty. You have a few soft shell clams as well in your bucket.
She is used to digging for clams.
Easy source of food. Just gotta be willing to get a little dirty. Alright. So you have your lovely day on the beach with the kids. Got a few things caught. Jinku eventually gets excavated and feels absolutely wonderful. Baby's butt indeed.
Mix might have had to use magic to get her out, but we got her out.
And she takes the kids down to the water and hoses them off with her trunk.
You got kind of a nice, and you got a nice saltwater burn going on in your trunk after that.
Well, no, it's just like when you spray saline up your nose.
Yeah.
Just really cleared out the sinuses.
Yeah, I'm breathing beautifully, and my skin is baby soft. Spa day for Jinku.
Great day, great fucking day. And you got a a house full of loot. So.
Well, and I laughed a lot with my fart noises, so I worked my abs, so I got my muscles worked out, so.
Oh man.
We got mixed out of the house for once in the sun. He may have got a little burnt. I don't know. Did you put your sunscreen on?
I don't need sunscreen.
Mick still exists. He's not a vampire.
Yeah, we've gotten confirmation that he's not a vampire.
He has been seen in the sun.
We can cross that theory off the list.
I just imagine that like the rest of the party has a silent betting pool on like mixed theories. And one of them is Mix a Vampire.
Oh my fucking god.
He's been out in the sun before.
Nobody said this
Direct
was like full of geniuses.
See, now you're gonna make me want to hang from the ceiling in the main room and scare the crap out of y'all when you walk in.
I mean, who does
Still
that
not
already?
100% convinced. I mean, she still gets freaked out by ghosts sometimes, so.
Mix sleeps upside down from the beams in the basement. And if you open the little trapdoor to go down there, he'll look at you and go.
It's Jinku every time.
Jinku accidentally, mistakenly thinks the trapdoor in the kitchen floor is the bathroom and gets down there and gets spooked every time.
Hits him with a bat.
All right, so you guys make your way back to Troll Skull. Kids, your kids obviously kind of tired themselves out a fair bit, running around on the mud flats, causing shenanigans. Doing what they do. You get the the various seafood stuff that you captured. You get stored in the ice box that you guys have. And yeah, you guys get yourself kind of cleaned up and put together for heading over to Castle Owners.
Yeah.
Okay.
Put my hat on.
Got your hat on.
I'm putting the fancy new robes on.
Nice.
Dyer will probably wear one of her new velvet cloaks.
Very nice. All right. So you head out from Troll Skull and start making your way toward the Castellanters. And like on the way, not too far away from your house, you are kind of met by a small cart with a few seats coming your direction, being driven by Willowfort Crowell, their butler. You've seen before. Seems like he was just heading in your guys' direction, but he sees you walking on the street and kind of hails you down and says, "Oh, please, no need to walk the rest of the way. I was just on my way to pick you up."
Okay.
Works for me.
I mean, get you all situated in the cart. Kind of turns things around on the street that he was going up, and heads back the way towards the Castellanters, dropping you off outside the front door, and then letting you inside. So inside the Castellanters villa, Victorio comes down, kind of large foyer staircase to greet you, and happily exclaims, "Ah, my friends, yes, so glad to have you with us. Come to the dining hall with us, please. Let us eat, and then we can talk business, as it were."
Are we assuming that Boo and Torta are with us?
Yeah, I'm just assuming Boo and Torta are along with you guys this whole time.
Heck yeah, let's eat.
Alright. So you head into the dining hall, and once again, like, you find, the tables laid out with, quite a nice array of a pretty typical, like, high-class society finery and foodstuffs. All sorts of different products and a few different trays with meats of different kinds and vegetable dishes and things like that. But definitely no stranger to this around the Castellant house. But you sit down, you get situated, you dig in. Stuff's great as always. During the meal, Amalia has been kind of looking over you all and says, You certainly have gotten some nicer clothes since last we met."
I'll look at the others and be like, who wants to explain where this stuff came from?
We killed the guy for it. And then she'll go up to Jinku and go right back to eating.
What my partners mean to say is adventuring is a hard life, but it does come with its perks.
Yeah, the person who had the last stone had a pocket dimension inside of the tower. And let's just say he was an evil, sadistic, crazy man with super magical powers.
Well, that's certainly another interesting person in this grand game of ours going on in this city. Any idea what he might have wanted the stones for?
We honestly didn't have much of a conversation with them. It was more of fireballs and lightning bolts flying at our heads.
Yeah, it's hard to say what it is he might have wanted with them, or how he may have obtained it, but I assume, given his status as an extremely powerful sorcerer, it was probably for power.
Well, I'm sure for the sake of Waterdeep, it seems that it was probably for the better that you were able to take him down before anything too drastic happened, I hope.
I mean,
Yeah.
I got put in a closet, but I mean, it turned out okay.
But 2 people died. We brought him back to life, though. No worries.
My, the tales of adventuring certainly are something, aren't they? But on the topic of strange happenings, you may recall some time ago there was that small village outside of Waterdeep, just a little to the east, as we had sent you to. There was that bit of a demonic cult enclave that you were able to clear out for us, that it was threatening our children.
Yes, I recall.
Well, I have heard some word from out that way that there have been some odd happenings going on in Undercliff once again, and perhaps that whatever was going on there might have come to Waterdeep as well. I don't have too many details as of yet, but it sounds like there have been a number of people that have gone missing from the village. Quite a fair number, if rumors are to be believed. Accompanied by kind of a strange mist and stillness that seems to have fallen over the village. It sounds like that there was something that was going on there a few days past. This, strange fog or mist descended on the village. A number of people went missing, and then, just recently, it dissipated. But I have heard whispers here and there from some down in the southern half of the city, perhaps down near the docks. Some say they have heard of similar things in that area, but perhaps you should take another visit to Undercliff and see if any of the people there have any idea what had happened. Because if it's got another demonic cult entity or something involved with the previous ones, I do not know for sure. But, well, they might be out for us or our children again. I'm not sure. I can't really say, but I can't really let this potential threat go without taking any sort of action on it.
Yeah, how far away is Undercliff again?
So Undercliff is pretty much right outside of Waterdeep. So on the map there, you can see just to the east of town. Undercliff is kind of a collection of the farms that are below the eastern cliff that Waterdeep is built upon. So you head out of the river gate in kind of the middle eastern part of town, head down the hill, and up the road a little bit, and you can see there's Undercliff Village, which is kind of the main area where you guys were last time, and a little bit west of there was where the farmhouse with the cultists in the basement was at. That's kind of the main central of it. That's where they kind of have their little market and whatever little businesses that kind of keep the community together, and then the farms are spread out to the north and east and south of the village there, with the various families that grow food and sell it up here in the city to the people who live here. So it's probably maybe an hour or so walk to get down there and get out and get to the village.
Yeah, we can go check that out first thing in the morning, I guess.
Wonderful. Well, if you do go out there and you find anything, and of course, if there's anything that you manage to take care of, please let me know. I'll be happy to reward you for the service, of course. Oh, and if you have managed to acquire a second eye of the stone, have you placed it? Have you returned the eye to the stone yet, or do you still just have it loosely?
We returned it, right? I can't remember.
I don't think you guys have specifically put the eye back in the stone, like Boo, because Boo's got all that stuff. And
Yeah, I don't
we can
think
always
he
ask
put
Boo
it.
about that next time he's here.
I don't think he did. I think we were too busy going through loot.
Yeah, and I don't think he didn't have the stone. He doesn't like to carry it around with him, from what I recall. It's back at Troll School, so probably just had the eye with him, got it back home. I don't think it's been shoved into a hole yet. So we can deal with that next time Boo's here. That's fine. All right.
Just let him and be like, it's safe and taken care of.
Okay. I mean, the more the more that this artifact is pieced together, I'm sure there's more secrets that can be heard, or more information that can be gleaned out of it as its power returns to it. I mean, obviously it won't be full power until all 3 of the eyes are restored, but 2 is better than 1, so if you find anything interesting, well, we'll be happy to hear it.
We will be happy to keep you informed. I'll, if anything exciting happens, I'll come by and inform you in person, but if it's just, stuff worthy, I'll have a messenger drop stuff by.
Wonderful. Well, I appreciate that you took the time to come and visit our family here and sup with us. It was wonderful to see you all again, and that you were making progress. That warms me and my wife's heart here to know that perhaps we will be able to rid ourselves of this burden before long, for the sake of our children.
Yeah, we've got some. I believe we have some leads on that last part, the last stone. So we're getting close.
Good. Well, whenever you do get it all put together, and whatever needs to be done, I will gladly assist in whatever way I can to ensure that we can bring this to a conclusion.
I'm gonna send this telepathically to the party, but I would be like, yeah, I got a feeling the last part of this is going to be a surrealistic nightmare.
You're
Probably not wrong.
All right. So with that, you finish up your dinner, and Victorio and Amalia and the kids are happy to see you off, and Williford is waiting for you outside the door with the cart to take you all back to Troll School. And off you go. So you head back home for the night, get your rest. The sheets feel just especially great, Jinku. You've never been so soft. That mud is amazing. And with that, we're going to take our halfway break there before we head out to Undercliff. So we'll come back, 8:40 or so, and finish up the other half. So we'll see you in a bit.
Ooh.
most part, as well as some of the other markets, like the big one up by you guys. But there's a noticeable difference in the amount of cart traffic as you're heading out. And as you get closer to Undercliff proper, even the village itself seems kind of eerily quiet.
That doesn't bode well.
We should probably be prepared.
So
Mix is going to pull a pistol out and just be like, yeah, let's go.
Well, that wasn't
Exactly
what I meant, but I appreciate your enthusiasm.
So, as you're coming into Undercliff, and like there's still people about. Like it's not like deserted. Like there are still some people about. There's a few carts here and there, but there seems to be like the people that are there. They all seem to have kind of a look of fear on their face. You can kind of see it in their eyes a bit. They seem nervous, a little more easily startled than usual. And the ones that are kind of going around with like carts and stuff seem eager to kind of go about their business as quickly as possible, without too much dawdling. And like it's not incredibly misty around here, but there's still like kind of a faint lingering blurriness in the air of maybe some kind of faint fog or mist or something still kind of clinging to the area. But yeah, certainly seems like something strange has been going on.
Well, do y'all want to move forward and investigate a little bit? Figure out what's going on?
I suppose we should. We were sent here. It wouldn't do well to come back with no information.
I would say maybe let's ask around, but everybody looks so nervous, I don't know if they're going to talk to us.
Okay. You try to approach anyone in particular? Just people nearby, anything like that? There are also a few like kind of shops around town as well. There's kind of general store type shops. There's like a blacksmith, some other kind of craftsman type locations. Making tools and implements. Commonly used by the farming folks in the area.
Any of them herb shop? Like somebody I could strike up a conversation with?
I would say there's probably I'd say there's probably like a small apothecary type shop. Maybe not the biggest of selection, but they've got a lot of the kind of common things that you would need or want in a small village. Stuff for injuries and things like that. keeping people going. Yeah, I'd say there's one of those.
I'll go into the apothecary. Where are my potions list? Oh, I have like one that takes away poisoning that I made two of, and 3 healing potions that I've made. So I'll take those into the apothecary and start talking to the person and
Oh.
kind of see where the conversation goes. Be like, hey, seems like there's strange things going on here.
The woman behind the counter, like you can tell that she seems like a little skittish, but maybe not as much as some of the others that were kind of outside. But you see her kind of looking back and forth and says, did you visitors down from Waterdeep today?"
Yes. I practice alchemy, and I was interested to see what you were growing down here. See if there was anything that I could use in my projects. But is there something that you could use help with?
Well, I don't know too much about help for myself, aside from, well, buying something from the shop, of course. But perhaps it would be best if you got out of town quicker than usual. There have been people that have gone missing recently. A fair few of them, in fact. And most of the townsfolk are a bit nervous about what seems to be going on, if they're being killed or taken away. No one can really say for sure. There's a strange weather for this time of year that we had for a few days, and a number of people just went missing. I mean, I live out here by myself and tend the herbs on my own, but I'm sure there are others in the town who perhaps had family or friends that went. I don't really know.
Did it start somewhere, or did it just all come about instantly, this weather?
Well, I can't really say for sure. It almost seemed to happen overnight. We woke up one morning and this this fog was everywhere throughout the town, which is it's strange for us to get that here. I mean, usually if there's fog rolling in off the sea, usually it gets blocked by the city before it gets to us. Too many buildings and walls for it to go through before it floats down onto our part of the land. So it's certainly strange for us to get that kind of thing here. I didn't really see anything myself. I mean, I usually stay up here in my shop most of the day, but I heard rumor of like a strange visitor who came through. I'm afraid I don't really know much else than that, but I've heard some people mention some strange visitor they saw. Perhaps they had something to do with this. I mean, I'm more than content to stay in my shop. Maybe whatever it is, won't get me if I stay inside, I hope.
Yes, you do what you need to stay safe. Is there somebody about that would possibly have more information on this? I'd like to help if I can.
Well, I mean, perhaps if you ask some of the tradesmen with more of the open market stalls, perhaps they saw something, since they're more they're less enclosed. The blacksmith, of course, he's pretty wide open where he is, out on the street there with his stall, or any of the other kind of small marketeers if they were there. Maybe they saw something. I've been too afraid to go out and ask.
Alright, well, I'll go ask them and see if there's something we can do.
Yep. So you three all head out to kind of that part of town where there's, like market stalls, that kind of stuff.
Y'all want to?
I'll follow Mix wherever he's going.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I mean, it's not too far. It's pretty much just down the street a little ways. It's not a particularly large village. And you find kind of a collection of stalls. Some of them seem to be set up more for produce vending. They have kind of angled boxes on the front where people would usually place their wares. And you also see kind of the small structures of a blacksmith and his forge built out of stone nearby. Several of the stalls are kind of noticeably empty, and despite them not being manned by anyone, the bins out in front of them still have some produce in them, although some of it seems pretty fairly picked over, perhaps by opportunists coming by, seeing the wares just unguarded in a stall. And some of them seem to be on like the far side of going bad. Perhaps been sitting in the sun unattended too long. Some of the fruits are a little browned, a little dried up a little bit. But the blacksmith at least looks to still be there. You see him currently looks to be kind of trying to melt a few metal pieces in some kind of canister that he has, perhaps to be poured into some sort of tool at some point.
Well, guess I'll walk up and be like, hello, sir. I'm understanding that there's people going missing, and it happened when the strange weather came in. My name's Mix. I co-own a tavern in town called Skull, and this is very concerning. Something that we could do to help?
The blacksmith kind of continues working on this kind of molten iron that he's working with. Doesn't really look up at you as he keeps working and says, "Well, the high and mighty citizens of Waterdeep finally came down to give a damn about our little village, did they? Hope it wasn't hurting your profits too much."
Well, no, we actually got told about what was going on by one of the larger families in Waterdeep. Don't mean it in any way. It's not affecting our profits. I'm just a concerned person looking out for my neighbors.
Oh, that's all well and good then, isn't it? Surely there's something you're getting out of it, I'm sure. What with fancy get up like that, flaunting it around our little village. Goodness. Something like that could probably feed the whole town for a year.
Oh, this? Ah, I got this off of a sorcerer who tried to kill me.
Ah, wizard business. He spits at the ground.
Yeah, I'm getting the urge to punch this guy in the face, not talk to him. I use my mind links since I can talk to people without NPCs hearing me and be like, Jinku, you want to pick this guy up by his shirt and shake him until he tells us something?
Sure. And Jinko will go up to the blacksmith and pick him up and say, hey pal, how about you tell my friend what he wants to know?
Jinko, as you kind of go to move towards this blacksmith, um, just telling you this before you do that, you realize that he is holding a container full of molten metal.
Okay, maybe that's not a good idea, Jinku.
Figured that would remind you of that goat starting shit in a small town on people.
Yeah, I don't really want him to like Johnny Tremaine my ass. I won't go and like shake him, but I will maybe just like, hey pal, like you don't need to be so unfriendly. Like we're just trying to help. Like maybe just answer my friend's questions.
Well, even if I did know anything, I mean, I don't know if I'd tell the likes of you anyways, but unfortunately I don't know too much. I know a bunch of my friends here at the market are gone. There was strange laughter in the night. Somebody said they saw a unusual cart. But I'm afraid I don't know much else than that.
Where was the cart at?
Well, I can't rightly say. As far as I know, it rolled through town and then left. I never got to look at it myself, but there's a gentleman out to the north of town. I think he might have seen it with his own eyes.
Is he friendlier than you?
Well, that depends.
On what?
How the hell do I know?
All right, I'm done with you. And Jinky walks away.
Yeah, we're going to talk to the other guy. Might have spent some money if he'd have been nice, just to warm them up, but that guy was an asshole.
What a freaking asshole.
Funny that he thought that we couldn't be trusted because we're from Waterdeep, when none of you but me are actually from Waterdeep, and none of us have a particular love for the city.
What?
To be fair, you do all look kind of fancy right now.
I just wear my hat.
Yeah, that's true. Jinku only is wearing a hat.
It's a real nice hat.
I didn't wear my hat today.
Oh.
Oh, yeah. So Jinku looks normal. And I just have a fancy black cloak.
And I guess Mix is the nice looking one right now. But anyways, so you guys head up to the kind of northern part of town. The people, things kind of thin out, pretty quickly going to the north. I mean, most of the kind of village buildings proper are all kind of in a little east-west bit around a small little pond that under the village is near. But after a couple buildings, it seems to kind of turn more into farmhouses. But as you kind of continue heading north, past a farmhouse or two, all of you roll a perception check for me. Okay. Let's see here. Alright, so Zara, as you all are kind of heading up this way, in the distance, Zara, you feel, or you hear what sounds like laughter.
I don't like that.
And not like, not like kind of just regular haha laughter. Like, it's almost kind of insane sounding. Like someone who's just lost it.
Zaira looks around confused. Do I see anything or anyone? Or do I just hear it?
You don't see anything in terms of people. But with the perception that you rolled, it seems like the sound was coming like east of you off the road. There's like a couple buildings over there, like a house and like some farm buildings.
Okay. I quietly whisper to Mix and Jinku that I heard crazed laughter coming from that house over there.
Well, I guess we go.
Alright. So you all kind of wander off the road over to this farmhouse and the buildings nearby. And, all of you, like, as you get closer, like, all of you can kind of hear this laughter going on. Like, it's not, like, constant, but just, like, every once in a while you just kind of get this kind of somewhat insane sounding giggling and laughing, and accompanied by like some thumping sounds. Sounds like something being like banged against something. That becomes more audible like the closer you get to these structures.
Just out of curiosity, is this house anywhere near that farmhouse that we found the cult in last time?
It is not. The farmhouse that was going on in was kind of an abandoned one that was west of Undercliff Village. This one's off to the north, and it doesn't look like, it doesn't look like, for the most part, like the house and like the structures and things. They don't seem like they're abandoned. Like it seems like they're upkept for the most part. I mean, obviously there's signs of farm work that's gone around. It's kind of turned up the soil in some places. Carts going in and out for delivering goods, stuff like that. But yeah, it's not like in any sort of obvious state of disrepair. Seems like a pretty regular kind of peasantry farmhouse type place.
Okay. What do you guys think? Should we approach?
I'm thinking we have to. I'm not feeling too comfortable about this, to be honest with you.
Me either.
Perhaps we should try and scout it out from outside first. See if we can see anything through windows.
Okay. So if you guys kind of like poke around the house, roll an investigation check for me. As you guys are kind of looking around. Okay. All right. So you three kind of circle around, the farmhouse and the structures here, and are able to kind of pinpoint that the sounds, like the laughter and like the banging of something against something, seems to be coming from inside this house, not the barn or the other farming structures. And you notice, like Sarah, you notice that the front door of the house is slightly ajar. And in terms of like windows, there aren't really too many windows into the place. That's a bit more expensive to come by, and not really seen as much of a priority. So there's only really like a window or two in the place, and they're fairly dirty. Again, not really much of a priority, it seems.
Okay. So Zaire relays this information to Mix and Jinku, and looks at Mix, asking, well, the front door is slightly ajar. I don't suppose you think you could get your familiar to go in there unnoticed?
Yeah, sure.
Seems the safer option than us trying to.
God, I switched familiars. I'm trying to remember. Is it a Pendragon, I think? No? A weasel got killed.
Yeah. I can't remember if we've like done much with like your familiar doing things since the weasel. So yeah, I guess it's kind of.
Yeah, I don't think Mix actually used his familiar since the weasel got killed.
Yeah, so yeah, familiar's whatever the heck you want it to be then, I guess, at this point.
Yeah, the little tiny Pendragons.
Okay.
It's on my shoulder. Yeah, that's what I have.
Okay.
I'll send them flying in to relay information.
Okay, sure. All right. So, Mix, your little Pendragon flies in through the door. The inside of the house is, fairly dark. There isn't really aren't any like candles or anything going to light the interior. The only light there really is what comes in through the kind of grimy windows that haven't been washed, and through the door that's slightly ajar. And inside, your Pendragon kind of flies down a little hallway, makes his way um, through a couple of rooms, like kind of a general kind of family room, a kitchen. Nobody seems to be there. But eventually comes to it looks to be like a bedroom of sorts. And in here, like, there isn't really much light at all. There isn't a window built into this room. So it's just whatever light manages to filter in from the rest of the house at the moment, since there's nothing lit. But you see through the eyes of your little Pendragon that there seems to be a man. Can't really make out features very well, but he seems to be kind of almost in a trance, bashing his head against the wall, and intermittently laughing. You can see, like, and this is more of like an assumption since you can't really see very well with the light, but like, it seems like the wall is a little bloodstained, or he's been bashing his head against it, and kind of dripping down a bit from the wall, a little onto the floor as well. And you can't quite tell for certain, but you're not really sure what other sort of liquid would be there if this guy's just been smashing his face against the wall for who knows how long.
Yeah, I'll relay that information back to everybody. And be like, should we go talk to the crazy man?
Well, that's unsettling.
I'm gonna call my little Pendragon back because I don't want it to get killed.
Okay.
Summoning a familiar is a pain in the ass.
Alright. So your Pendragon flies back out to your side, lands on your shoulder. And you're all outside the house.
Well, what should we do?
I guess we go talk to the crazy man. But if he starts anything, I'm gonna mind spike him. Completely mess his mind up.
If it isn't already.
Yeah, I might be too late for that.
No, I'm seriously, I will destroy his mind.
Alright, so you three head inside.
It would
seem so.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
Do you have, like, any lights with you at all?
I know someone can cast light, but I want to say it might be Boo.
I mean,
Nope.
Yep.
if it is,
Boo.
with, like, they're with you.
Nope.
Just
That's
silently.
me.
Oh, it's you. Okay, well, that's convenient.
So I can create. How bright do you want it? I can make a mini sun in here if you want me to.
Well, we only need something bright enough to see our path.
Okay, it's a 20-foot radius light pops into the air above our heads.
Okay. All right. So you step into the house. You got your light orb floating up in the air above you, which lights things up pretty well. In terms of the interior of the house, interior looks pretty normal. It looks like there's probably a few people that assumedly live here. Just from the size of the place and some of the various furnishings and things around. You head back towards the bedroom.
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right.
Does anything look like? Does anything look out of place, or does the house look normal?
Roll a investigation check for me. Okay. So you look around, and I mean, at least just in your experience of a usual farmhouse, nothing seems too out of order. Maybe like a little bit of like a mess in like the hall here, like maybe like a thing or two got like knocked over, but otherwise it seems pretty ordinary beyond the guy in the back room.
Okay.
That's not another one of these laughs while you guys are in the hall, and it's just even more kind of grating almost.
Zyra is still very skeptical, but she keeps going down. She's silently clinging to her dagger. Comfort dagger.
Okay. Alright, so you head to the bedroom, and you kind of push the door open the rest of the way, so you're able to go in, and the light kind of falls across this guy, who is, as you can see, seems to have been just kind of bashing his forehead against the wall of this room for a while, it seems. It's hard to tell how long. Certainly enough that he has injured himself. And, as you enter the room, he kind of slowly turns his head to look at you all. And his face it seems to be almost frozen in kind of a horrific rictus grin of sorts. Like, so much so that his eyes aren't open with how widely he is grinning. And, he sees you all and speaks in this, kind of raspy voice, if anything, probably just from dehydration. Oh, it was beautiful. Oh, are you here to see it? Oh, I can't believe they left me behind. It was everything I'd ever dreamed.
See what?
Yeah, all of my dreams. They came true. The cart. It was a wonderful cart that came through, the most beautiful, wonderful thing I'd ever seen. This beautiful red cart all lit up with lights. And inside they showed me all of my dreams, and they were all true. And they still are. Oh, it's the most beautiful thing. We all were going with them. but I got lost in the crowd. There were many of us that were all clamoring to get on the cart to be taken away. But I'm afraid I fell off. I wish they'd come back for me. I don't think I'll ever see anything that wonderful ever again. You notice, like, looking around the room as this clearly deranged man is speaking to you. Clearly this guy, like, had a wife and probably some kids. They are definitely not here.
But it doesn't look like anything happened to them. They just aren't there.
Yeah, I mean, aside from the, stain of blood on the wall from repeatedly smashing his forehead against kind of rough wood for a long time, there isn't really any other signs of violence.
Where did this cart go?
Oh, I think... Well, they probably would want to go to the city, I would think. If they're making people's dreams come true, well then... Wouldn't you want to bring that to everybody?
Okay, this guy's cuckoo for Go-Go Bus.
Yeah, I'm not entirely sure what was in that cart, but I have the distinct impression that it wasn't a dream come true.
Well, you want us to help you find the cart?
Oh, that would be wonderful. If you can find me that cart, I can go back. Oh, please, if you know where it is, please take me with you. I would do anything.
Well, we'll certainly try, but we don't know where the cart was going or who was in control of it.
Why, Tasha, of course. It was Tasha's.
Who is Tasha's?
It was the name on the cart. The bringer of this wonderful gift, Tasha's.
Do you know who this person is?
You mean like the are you asking that to the guy or to each other?
To each other. This guy doesn't have a clue.
I mean, in terms of people that you know, you don't really know anybody named Tasha offhand that you've run into.
I don't suppose the name would have come up in any of the demonology books that Zyara had been reading.
Let's see. You roll on our history. Roll a history check. Okay. So, from the books that you've read, Zaram, the name Tasha has come up in terms of that realm of kind of history and study before. There's a fairly well known um, archmage in the past that was known as Tasha. In fact, there's spells that you have heard of that bear her namesake. Um, but as far as you're aware, in Tasha lived and died quite a long time ago. So whoever this Tasha is now, perhaps they might be using their namesake for the sake of it being a famous name associated with that sphere. I mean, one particularly notable spell that you probably recall that bears her name is Tasha's Hideous Laughter.
Okay.
Which is a spell that causes its target to fall into crippling bouts of laughing.
Hint, hint, wink. Nudge, nudge.
But yeah, she was an archmage and a demonologist a long time ago. So.
Okay. So Zaira thinks for a moment, and the information kind of clicks in her mind. Well, I mean, Tasha was the name of a rather well-known archmage a long time ago. I mean, I would suspect that Mix, you may have come across some of her work, her spells in your studies, but she would have died ages ago.
Yeah, I think I've read that name somewhere in my research, but I don't know. This sounds like a haunting to me.
It's something mystical or paranormal, that's for sure.
So should we knock this guy out so he doesn't beat his elf to death?
It's possible. I'm not sure what else to do. He seems manic.
Don't worry, I got this. I'm trying to decide what to use. I've got all sorts of stuff that can knock people out.
Very true.
Like that, I've got a plethora. I'll just take a drow dart out and stab him with it right in the neck, right in the jugular.
Okay. Okay. So you stick him with your drow sleeping dart that you've got there, and it pretty rapidly takes effect, and he kind of slumps over, onto the ground and stops beating his head against the wall. Face still stuck in that just absolutely awful grin. It's kind of unnerving seeing him lying there on the floor with this look on his face, even though he's like out. But at least he's not bashing himself on the wall anymore.
True. I guess we're looking for Tasha.
Or whoever stole her name.
This does not give me a good feeling. This, I
Nor
mean,
do
an
I.
archmage.
Well, not only was she an archmage, she was also a rather renowned demonologist.
All Nix can think is ouch time. Alright, let's go explore around in the fog. We'll talk to people, see if we can find this cart.
Only lead we have for now.
But
I'm
it
telling you,
certainly would explain why the town is so empty and those who remain are fearful.
if a dead archmage demon person pops out, I'm running.
I suppose at that point, that's what we have Torta for.
True, he beats everything to death. Jinku,
Always iron.
what are you feeling about this?
Don't like it.
Nope, 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 nope.
Well, y'all want to keep exploring, see if we can find this cart lady? Sounds like she only comes out at night.
No, not really, but that's what we got to do.
Doesn't seem like we have much other choice.
So, you take your leave of the guy that you knocked out on the floor and head outside. So this road that you guys have been going up here north of Undercliff, like this seems to be kind of the main road in this area for like north to south travel, because it goes down, goes through the village, keeps going down, goes over to Waterdeep, goes beyond past Waterdeep. As you all are kind of heading back out to the road, you get up to it, and the roads out here, you're all just dirt, and there's quite a few cart marks or cart tracks and things here and there. Footprints from people going by, doing whatever they do, and you notice, in particular, one set of cart tracks among the others seem very noticeably deeper than the rest. And this soil doesn't look like it doesn't look like it's like recently like rained or made it muddy or anything. So it doesn't look like as a result of that. Like this is pretty dry, packed, well trod path dirt, and these are some pretty deep fucking ruts.
Perhaps this is the path of our cart.
Yeah, let's follow him.
So you follow these. I mean, like the tracks, like these tracks seem to like go in both directions. Like they go, from the north, and they seem to extend off into the south as well. But I mean, assumedly they're probably going to Waterdeep, so they probably came from the north, at least.
Yeah, whatever way is leading away from the town.
Yeah, so that would be south, back through the village towards Waterdeep. So you make your way following these back to the south. You notice as you get kind of close to like the main cluster of village buildings, the tracks that you're following go off of the road and seem to go kind of behind some of the kind of shops and buildings that make up the kind of central area of the village. And in particular, you notice kind of behind the buildings in the center of the village, a spot where, in addition to the ruts, there's also a pretty inordinately large amount of footprints for what you would expect for kind of back between buildings area.
Well, I'll start following them and see where the people tracks lead.
Well, from looking around at the tracks on the ground, most of the tracks seem to lead towards the ruts. You notice a spot where there's the wheel ruts, and then you notice that a little off to the left of the wheel ruts there looks to be kind of two indentations, perhaps where some sort of like stair or steps or something might have been extended and sat. And most of the kind of footprints that you're seeing around here seem to lead up to that point. And then, not any further into the rut, like they went up something.
Oh, keep following the ruts.
So you continue following these. They pull back out from. You follow them kind of behind the buildings of the village, and as you get to kind of the western side, they kind of pull back onto the road, and then seem to continue south out of the village, kind of down the main road to get back up to Waterdeep. As you kind of keep following them, the tracks seem to get a little harder to follow at this point, just because there is so much other traffic between Waterdeep and the village directly, compared to some of the other roads. So it does get kind of mixed up in some of the other ruts. That with the sheer amount of traffic that usually goes along here, things seem to be packed a lot harder. So you eventually kind of lose the trail of the ruts, at least. But it seems to indicate, it seems to be heading in the direction of Waterdeep, up the, kind of up the winding road that goes to the river gate.
Well, let's keep following them, and we'll start asking at Rivergate.
Okay.
If anybody gets the urge to jump on our cart, don't.
So you make your way up to the River Gate on the east end of Waterdeep. There's your typical, cadre of guards that are, posted on the outside, the inside of the gate. You guys hop down and question them. Are you looking to just kind of question the regular people around inside? Who are you looking to ask?
I say we talk to the guards. They usually got the best information.
Okay. All right. So you kind of pull yourselves up to one of the guards on the outside of the gate, and he kind of sees you coming over to him and says, "Hello, travelers. Welcome to the good city of Waterdeep. What brings you here today?"
Well, we're looking for some missing villagers from Undercliff. There's evidently a mystical cart that's collecting people, and we tracked it right through this gate.
Well, we certainly get our fair share of interesting visitors that come in Waterdeep, day in and day out. Do you know anything about what the cart might have looked like?
It supposedly said Tasha on it.
Tasha's. And he kind of turns and shouts through the gate to his buddy on the other side and says, "What? Do you remember seeing any fancy carts named Tasha's going through here recently?" And the other guard on the other side kind of pauses for a moment. You see him thinking, kind of traces some things in the air with his fingers and says, "Yeah, I think I saw one like that. It's I have a decently tall number. I had like a sign on the top. I remember it said, I think it actually said Tasha's Kiss was the sign. But yeah, I remember seeing one like that. Came through the gate, headed off west through the Trades Ward. I mean, I don't know where they went from there, but I do remember seeing that come through the gate. Didn't seem too different than your usual kind of traveling, entertainer type cart of sorts. We usually see a fair number of fanciful little numbers like that."
I'm gonna look at the guard and tell him all the information we have about that cart.
Okay. So the guard, kind of looks at you in shock a bit, hearing about all these people that have gone missing, especially about this loon guy in this farmhouse that you guys came across. And he says, "Well, goodness. Certainly seems like something we should bring to the attention of the rest of the guard to keep a lookout for. If people are going missing, we, certainly in a place like this, it's easy to go missing in a city like Waterdeep. There's certainly probably a lot of people that wouldn't be missed. Seems like the kind of thing this might take advantage of. Well, thank you, citizens. I will pass the word along, see if we can have an ear to the ground if anybody's heard anything."
Yeah, we're gonna continue try to track this thing. Said it went west through the trade wards.
Yes, well, I mean, the main road through here goes that way anyways, but they could have gone any number of directions after that. Whether it be, up the main roads to the northern parts of town, or down through the southern parts, or the docks, or anywhere. I mean, really, they could be anywhere in the city. They came in through the gate.
Well, we've got a client worried about this cart coming after their family, so I think we're gonna go protect them if you'll alert the rest of the guards.
Well, certainly. I'll be happy to let the city guard keep word out. If you're looking for it in particular, would you like us to let you know if we find anything out? Sounds like you have an
Yes.
interested party.
Um, we'll either be at the Castellanter estate or Troll Skull Manor. We own it.
Oh, I believe I've heard of that place. The Castellanters, I know. Yes, of course. Good family. Shame about their son. But yes, if you're helping them out, we'll be happy to keep things on the lookout. Protect the good families of Waterdeep from any harm. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And I'll just turn to everybody and be like, so do we want to go to the Castellanters or keep tracking this thing?
Mm, not sure, because we could always tell them what we know now, but perhaps we need to keep following it.
All right. I'm gonna use my familiar and send it flying up into the air to start scanning for this cart from the description that we got from it.
Okay. So like you send your familiar up to kind of start looking around the area, see if it can see anything. It's a bit difficult to get too much of a good read on things. I mean, with the time of day that it is, I mean, the streets are pretty bustly. There's, quite a number of carts, including other ones that are, somewhat kind of fantastical or entertainment in nature that seem to travel around the streets of Waterdeep. In addition to all of the various, buildings and shadows cast by these buildings and, awnings and things, stuff hanging from lines. Um, it's difficult to really get a good aerial read on things with the familiar. There's just a lot to take um, in a city so dense.
I'll leave him up,
Okay.
like exploring, and I'll turn to the party and be like, I think we should start making it our way to the Castellanters and asking questions along the way. Because we wouldn't want anything to happen to those children.
Yeah, I suppose so.
I mean, do either of you have any other ideas?
No?
Well, that's what we're going to do then. That's okay.
All right. So you go. You kind of make your way towards the Castle Villa, which is up on the northern part of town. And as you go along, you kind of go around asking various people if they've seen things. Let's see. So the people that you speak to along the way, uh, you don't really seem to be having much luck in terms of anybody outright noticing this cart. I mean, you get a mix of people who they have plenty of other things they're doing during the day, whether they're like running a little stall or doing their own errands. Um, a lot of them just haven't really been paying attention to the carts going by, as some of them say the carts go by every day. What's one cart from another?
can certainly understand that. This is a busy town.
And like with your searching, you spend like the better part of the afternoon, kind of making your way around trying to find anything, and you know you're not really sure at this point whether it's that um, nobody fucking pays attention, or if somehow this cart just wasn't able to be seen. Who knows at this point. But you're just not having any luck with people in terms of where uh, stuff might be at. But you do make it to the Castellanters, and looking around the area there, you kind of scout out some of the nearby streets, just making sure it's not lurking around a corner or anything like that. Don't come across anything in particular. Seems like another regular day around the streets of the Castellanter Villa. Are you guys going inside and talking to them at all, or heading back to like Troll's Call?
Well, we did promise to fill them in if we found anything out about this. We should at least do that. And I mean, I can stay here and watch over their villa and
Okay.
send a message via the sending stones to y'all.
Sure. Yeah, you can certainly do that. Okay. So you head up to the entrance to the Castellanter Villa, and are met by Willifort, the butler. And he informs you, "Oh, well, his lord and ladyship, I'm afraid, aren't in at the moment. They're out running some errands of their own, I believe. I'm not really privy to their personal matters, but I will certainly let them know that you've heard tale of some strange cart entity that seems to be lurking. And, well, I'll certainly keep an eye out around the property myself in case I see anything come around."
Yeah, I'm gonna stay around. We promised them that we would help with this, so please stick around and make sure that everything's okay. Does that work for you two?
Yep.
Okay. So Zara, Jinku, were you guys going to Troll Skull then while Mix keeps an eye out here to kind of see if you get any info from guards or anything that come by, and then keep an eye on the client of sorts? Is that what you're doing?
Yes.
Okay. So, Zara, Jinku, you two head back to Troll Skull as like the evening is coming on. Mix, are you like staking out up on like a roof or something nearby, or just lurking around in the streets, keeping an eye out?
Well, I got my familiar up in the sky, keeping an eye,
mm-hmm.
so I'm gonna stay on the street. I'm just gonna sit by the entrance to their villa, cross-legged, and go into my meditative state where my eyes are open and I'm observing everything, but I'm not actually moving it.
Okay, sure. So you're doing that, and Zara, you and Jinku make it back to Troll Skull, and kids are there. Business is going on downstairs like there usually is. This time of night, it's usual running open night for the place. But you two head up to the residential part of the building, and as you're kind of hanging out up there, kind of getting settled. Crap, what's that? Squiddly, one of the kids. He comes over to you, Zara, and Chingu, because he kind of notices you have like a bit of a worried look on your face. He's like, Is there something wrong?
Oh,
We're just stuck on a mystery.
And he kind of perks up a little, like, ooh, a mystery. What kind of mystery?
We're trying to find a magic cart that's responsible for hurting people. But no one seems to know where the cart comes or goes from.
How? Like, what's the cart doing to people?
It's making them go mad. They laugh and laugh and they can't stop laughing. And they lose their mind.
I mean, laughing is fun, I guess. Is that so bad?
It is when you can't control it.
Oh.
The people are hurting themselves and they don't know what they're doing.
Well, that sounds bad.
We think so too.
I mean, do you know what it looks like? I mean, we know a lot of street kids in the city. Maybe they've seen it.
We've been told that... Did he say it was red? I thought someone said it was red.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely said there was like red in terms of the color. You don't know if that's like the only color, but there was definitely red involved.
Okay. The only information we've got is that it's a cart with red on it, and it says Tasha on it.
Tasha. That's a nice name. Well, I mean, I guess we can tell our friends and maybe they'll see something. I don't know. Nobody notices the street kids very much.
That would be very helpful. Just please warn your friends to be careful and not to look in the cart.
Okay. We usually don't have the money to go in those anyways. And Squiddly kind of heads off with Nat and Jinx. And I think at that point, this would probably be a good place to call it for now. With the mystery of what's going on with this cart. And we will pick that up in 2 weeks for our kind of right around Halloweeny stream.
You're a weenie stream.
Got him.
Oh.
Got him.
You know me. I got-y.
Alright. Well, let me turn this off here. Thank you all for coming. And to those of you who watched, have a good one. We will see you next time.